Oh, sorry guys, I'm just trying to read the standing orders I've set up at my bank account.
Read the standing orders.
I'm trying to read them, Aled.
Read them and understand them.
I'm trying to understand them, okay? Okay guys, so in case you didn't know, that clip is from the Handforth Parish Council meeting, which has gone viral on social media, as I'm sure you're aware. And, well, it's hilarious. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, watch it. Basically, it's a council meeting filmed on Zoom that goes horribly wrong. People are rude to each other, and it's just very, very funny. And I would say quintessentially British, but it's gone super viral. It was even featured on BBC Breakfast News this morning.
A parish council meeting. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it.
Joyous, right? A parish council meeting, right? They were doing it on Zoom, and the footage of it has been released, right? And it's gone around social media, and basically it's like a comedy show when it all descends into chaos, and it's addictive. So this council meeting, these people involved, there's a Twitter storm after it. Can we show a bit of it?
A hero has emerged from this video, and that is Jackie Weaver. In fact, people are calling Jackie Weaver Britain's answer to Carol Baskin, or Baskin, if you pronounce it the American way, the lady from Tiger King. Now, obviously, Jackie Weaver, as far as we know, hasn't been accused of killing her husband, but nevertheless, she's a very forthright, very strong woman, and she takes no nonsense. So I can understand why people have made that comparison. What's really interesting is that she's now trending #1, and people are congratulating her on the way she handled all the various temper tantrums and what people are referring to as bullying in the meeting. So she was also interviewed today, and she was interviewed on Woman's Hour on BBC Radio 4. Here is the interview if you want to listen to it. I've not cut it or anything, it's just as it was on the radio a few hours ago. Here we go, Jackie Weaver on Radio 4.
And welcome, Jackie Weaver. Welcome to Woman's Hour. I must say, you have as much authority as you like here. How do you feel being so famous this morning?
Well, surprised, I guess, more than anything else. Lovely to be talking to you this morning. I mean, I suppose the surprise comes in large part because actually 99.99%, that's an actual fact, I'm sure, of council meetings are just not like that. They are often less exciting than we might hope they were. And in fact, although this has a positive spin for it, most of the time I'm trying to encourage people to get involved in parish councils, to raise their profile, etc. So I guess the plus side of this is it's certainly done that.
And has anyone else on the Zoom reacted this morning? Have they been in touch?
Yes, I mean, to be honest, one of the reasons this has been easy and, I'm happy to speak to you is that I've had nothing but really lovely, positive support from people who, of course, condemn the behaviour. I mean, nobody could not condemn that.
Jackie, I have to say, including Woman's Hour listeners, we've had an email from Hannah who says, Jackie Weaver is a real hero. Her no-nonsense reaction to this bullying, petty, sexist behaviour, which it's seen in councils up and down the country, is so refreshing. Well done, Jackie.
Oh, that's lovely. And that's kind of reflective of the kind of thing that I've had. So that's been lovely. And I guess the harder-nosed kind of response to it is also around there is an element of bullying and bad behaviour in local councils, and a lot of us are working very hard, and that includes central government, to try to do something about that, because we're passionate about the fact that local government is the mechanism by which people can really engage with their communities.
Yeah.
Although, they say lots of negative stuff this morning, and actually some of it is quite amusing too.
I mean, of course. And
people to even know that they're there.
Yes. But, on the note, on what you've just been saying about bullying, because we had a note from Jane who emailed in to say, I actually found the clip quite upsetting because it reminded me of how I felt trying to contribute or chair meetings of local groups where very bullying men, and occasionally women too, have behaved really badly. I think many women will relate to this and have experienced a bit of it. And actually, it's not that funny.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean that the principle of it is funny, but actually, there has to be some although clearly there's amusement in the way somebody has actually just lost it. And, you know, it's harsh to take some pleasure from that. But I'm afraid that when you are being bullied, if you can see that the other person has lost it, there is a sense of, you know, I did okay there because I've held it together.
And have you spoken to your fellow councillors this morning?
No, not this morning. Briefly spoke last night. When you say fellow councillors, I'm not a councillor, nor am I a member of Handforth Parish Council. But that's an important point. You introduced me as Jackie Weaver from the Cheshire Association of Local Councils. I mean, what we do as an organisation is we provide, sounds like a sales pitch now, advice, guidance and support to the town and parish councils across Cheshire.
Fine. And Jackie, what we want is advice, guidance and support about how to cope with Zoom meetings like that. What advice can you give everybody? Because we're all having these Zoom meetings. We're all at the end of our tether. We're all slightly losing it a little bit. How do we stay as calm and collective as you did in Zoom meetings? What should we do? Well,
first of all, never wear your pyjamas.
Fine. That's it. That's the one. Just don't wear your pyjamas. And actually, just what I want to know is, you were being shouted down and being told that you weren't the person in authority. Were you actually in charge? Who was in charge?
Who was in charge of that meeting? I'm not absolutely sure who was in charge. But if you want the boring details, we have two councillors who have legitimately called a meeting. There's a process for you to death with the details. And at that point, my job in supporting them to hold that meeting was to make sure they were able to hold that meeting.
But so, Jackie, just back to how calm you were, and the emails and texts are coming through, and I noticed it as well, because you know you were being shouted down left, right and centre, and what made it funny was obviously lots of people thought they were on mute and you could hear what was going on, and there was a running commentary, and the whole thing is just so British. It's brilliant. But you remained so calm in that moment, and even your face, just what was going through your mind. Teach me, because I would have had a very different reaction had it been me being shouted down like that.
I guess for me, it's about being focused on what you're trying to achieve, so that there would have been a certain pleasure in fighting the argument. You know, I'm legitimately here. This is my role. You're all wrong. These are the facts. But actually, that wasn't what I wasn't there to train them in how you hold a parish council meeting. I was very focused that I was there to support the three councillors that wanted to get on with the ordinary, often dull business of a parish council, looking at doing stuff for its community and just not getting dragged into it. And although I make the joke about don't wear your pyjama bottoms, there's a kind of serious point to that, something that I've found myself. And I'm sure it might resonate for others during lockdown, is it is so tempting to just kind of put on a face and think that, you know, well, that's all you ever see. So it's okay if I'm wearing my slippers and my pyjama bottoms. But for me, it has a change in your own personal attitude if you know that you're all together, irrespective of whether you can see whether I'm wearing my pyjamas or not. I know I'm not. Honestly, I'm not.
Jackie, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and you've made me feel terrible about presenting Woman's Hour in my pyjamas now. Next week, I'll get dressed properly. Enjoy your day today, and no doubt Jackie Weaver's name will be trending on Twitter.
Sorry, I've got a pineapple in my hands because I'm currently on lunch break. I'm just going to chop it up for my kids so they can have some fruit. If you're like me and you're stuck in lockdown and you're homeschooling your kids right now, I think this video of Handforth Parish Council was welcome relief. Makes you laugh because it's so relatable, I suppose. Do you think the men were bullying Jackie? I think, yes, they probably were. They were certainly being incredibly rude. And that, my friends, really isn't British, is it now? Come on, let's be polite. However, I think this video kind of deserves the plaudit it's getting. It's just because I think everyone is feeling this way because we're all so fed up of having to communicate over Zoom and do stuff over Zoom. So it's a very welcome relief, and it's a parody but not intended to be a parody. People are saying, oh, it should become a comedy series, and I don't really think it should, because I think the moment you start to structure something like this, it stops being funny and just doesn't really work. It's just beautiful and clever and funny as it is. Which is entirely by accident, but that's what makes it so special. But this pineapple's got a life of its own. Anyway, let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video, and just in case you haven't seen it, after I finish speaking now, what you'll get is the full 8-minute clip that's been doing the rounds on social media, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Right, off I go. Thanks for watching. Bye.
They don't see you. They don't see you. Hello again.
Hello again. I thought I wasn't going to get in then.
Lay and start. I had to wash my hands.
Oh, that's all right then. We'll forgive you.
We're all encouraged to, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Just apologising for the delay, though, because we just ran a little.
When do we plan to start?
I think we could start any moment, Chairman. I think it's perhaps helpful just to go through the same things as we went through before, which is just to encourage people to switch off their microphones, because it does reduce the background. That bing, which tells us that somebody else wants to come in. So I'll continue to admit people if you'd like to start the meeting, Chairman.
Can we be assured that we won't be thrown out of the meeting like we were last time?
As long as we have reasonable behaviour from everyone, no one would be excluded from the meeting.
I was thrown out of the meeting. So was Councillor Birkhill, so was Councillor Brewerton.
As a point of order, Chairman, could we start the
Again.
Chair.
Okay. I'll go for. Okay.
Chair.
We haven't started the meeting yet. Do you want to speak anyway?
Yes, I'd like to ask a point of order.
I'm in.
We're not in a meeting, so points of order are not.
When's it started yet? No.
Points of order apply during the debates, and I want to ask Jackie, was it you who quoted a point of order?
Yes, it was indeed.
Are you here as the proper officer?
I am here offering support to Handforth Parish Council in the conduct of this meeting this evening.
You're not the proper officer.
Is that as clerk or proper officer?
There's no difference between clerk and proper officer.
Of course there is.
Yes, there is.
You must know the basic law.
Are we
I
going
would
to,
have thought.
are we going to start this meeting?
It isn't the role of somebody who, however kindly, volunteers to do the clerking for a meeting to act as a proper officer if they haven't so been appointed. That's against the law.
It's been called by
and let me also quote to you the standing orders of Handforth. Will you stop talking?
Unless we are prepared.
Will you please listen?
We'll go the same.
Will you please listen? Will you stop being whatever it is you're trying to be and just clerk the meeting if that's what you want to do?
Chairman.
Points of order, according to our standing orders, are determined by the chair. If you want to raise a point of order as a councillor, you ask if you can raise a point of order, you state it, and then the chair decides. It is not for the clerk to raise a point of order. It is not for the clerk to decide a point of order. And you must be aware of that, or at least God knows what you're doing in your job if you're not aware.
Start this meeting?
It is.
Or shall we elect an alternative chairman?
Oh, hiya. I'm just in a meeting at the moment. Can I give you a call back when it finishes?
A good reason.
Okay, all right, bye.
So, Chairman, albeit late, shall we get this meeting started?
I
Can't see Jackie Weaver.
Who's this woman? There.
Right, we'll start the meeting, and I want to repeat what I said at the beginning of the last meeting, that this meeting has not been called according to the law. The law has been broken.
It has been properly
Will you
called.
please let the chairman
Mrs. Weaver, please.
To disrupt this meeting, I will have to remove you from it.
You can't.
Dear me.
Appalling behaviour.
Chairman gone.
A copy of this will, in fact, be sent to the monitoring officer.
Well, I hope so.
Out of those people,
Where's the chairman?
we elect
The standing orders, it then reverts to me.
Where's the chairman gone?
like to elect a chairman for this meeting.
You don't have to elect a chairman. There's a chairman already installed. The chairman of the council.
Councillor Burkle, we've been through this.
You don't. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. The chairman of the council is the chairman of the
Council.
Yeah, I'm going to subpoena everybody.
Roberto, could I ask you to be respectful to Jackie Weaver, please?
Elect a
Here comes the subpoena.
chairman.
Leave. Just you go and out then. She's kicked Barry out, so I'm leaving. No, Barry. No, Barry has gone. I'll stay. We're trying to have a Teams meeting, you fool. Go on. We're trying to have a Teams meeting, you fool. Okay. We can't if you've got that. Oh, we just told us.
Jackie Weaver, I find that the person on Alec Bruton's Zoom is being very disrespectful to everybody.
Oh, coming from you, from Birkenhead, that sounds good.
Wow.
Thank God for that.
Now elect a chairman for the meeting, please.
Yes.
Jackie.
Can I propose John Smith, please?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay. My first point is to apologise to Jackie, but welcome to Handforth. May I start?
Indeed,
Sorry.
it's nothing if not lively in Handforth.
Yes, but what I would say is that it was a very good example of bullying within Cheshire East and the environs.
John, can I make a very, very quick point? Rich coming from the chairman who hasn't held a meeting since March to try and call this one illegal. The man is a complete disgrace.
Okay, thank you, Peter. All right, I'll get started. Things to do. Yes, I was going to ask a point of order of the chair, but unfortunately, I don't think that now would be an appropriate time because I couldn't get an answer.